Hey, how are you? Mike Watts, Voodoo Studios, Long Island, New York, here to discuss a Black Lion Audio piece of gear called a B172A. And what that is the 17 version of an 1176 along with an LA2A all in one box. Why do that? Well, if you're a professional in making music, you understand totally why, because many times you run them in serial or series or in conjunction with one another. Many times when I'm mixing in or tracking, I will run an 1176 into another slower, softer tube opto type of compressor for the attitude, for the sound, for additional control. So the 1176 has controlled attack and release, and the LA2A type of compressor does not. So tracking with an 1176 first for a sound source that has tons of spikes and ups and downs and all over the place, specifically vocal and bass, would sound good using two compressors in succession, one into the other. Normally you would run the 1176 into the LA2A, which is probably why they set it up 17 into the 2A. Black Lion Audio has Cinemag transformers on the input side, and on the output they're using Chicago wound Black Lion Audio 2A transformers. The LA2A side of this compressor has the custom designed Black Lion Audio T4B opto element. That's what gives an LA2A or a 2A style compressor its specific sound. So what we're going to do here is another comparison video. We're only going to compare the 17 or the 1176 side with a Uri 1176 and the 2A side of the Black Lion Audio with a Teletronics LA2A. Luckily, we have both of them here at the studio, so you can hear how similar they are and how much painstaking work Black Lion Audio did and went through to achieve a very, very, very accurate sound to the originals. Then I will show you what I would normally do is run things in succession. I'll be doing drums, bass, guitars, and vocals, again, like I always do, because that's the kind of music I like to make. When I talk about these specs and things to you, the opto amp, this cell, this FET thing, and whatever, I'm not really a tech guy at all, so I may sound a little clumsy saying this stuff, but for me it's the sound. It's always been the sound. I've never opened up the hood of any of these things. I've never done pre-emphasis on any of this stuff. It's, to me, always, you know, how it comes out of the box is how it's meant to sound, and that's what I've always gone with. And, you know, I've just learned to fall in love with playing around with the outside of these things and not worrying so much what the inside says and does, because to me my ear is most important. The specs are the specs. It's great that they do all this and that's how they achieve the sound, but to me that's, you know, however they get there. It could be gum and duct tape. If it sounds great, it sounds great. So that being said, we're going to put these things through their paces together collectively. We're going to start with drums as we normally do. We're going to start with a nominal volume on the input side. We are using pre-recorded tracks from an artist that came through here, and the tracks were recorded with really good musicians. This way you can, you know, hear what these things and what effect they'll have on instruments as you learn how to mix with them. First, again, I will start with a basic drum mix. Everything's going to have to be mono because these are, you know, mono units. You can link these two together, but that means they work in succession from one to the other. First, we're going to do drums into the Uri 1176. Not doing too much. Very, very lightly. You can see them that I have the attack set up relatively the same, the releases as fast as possible, and we're at a 4-to-1 ratio. And we'll keep it there through this whole experiment. Now to the Black Lion Audio. Uri. Black Lion Audio. Sound strikingly similar. It looks like they're doing strikingly similar things with their metering, which is really important to me, that the attack and the release respond identically. That's something that I've talked about in the past, that I don't like when other emulations or clones of gear don't react the same way, because it's confusing. I'm used to the original, and that's why we're making clones of the original. So we should try to be as accurate as possible with that sort of thing, and Black Lion Audio is doing an excellent job of that. Let's push the drums in a little harder into the Yuri. Black Lion Audio. Yuri. Black Lion Audio. Gonna get a little more aggressive. Back to the Yuri. Wow, thank God they made this compressor when they did. Listen to that again. Now that is hard to live up to, but let's see how Black Lion Audio does. Wow, they nailed it. Listen to this snare. Yuri. Black Lion. I mean, that's really, really close. Maybe it's the tiniest bit, and I mean tiniest bit darker, but I mean, it is so close. And the way it's reacting, all right, time for the fun stuff. Let's do the crush. Really push into this thing. Yuri, of course. Black Lion. Yuri. Black Lion. Now, I just want to explain that there is a full drum mix in there, and the way I had the room mics were just at the level that I would mix the rooms, but you can hear the further and further I push into this compressor, the more it's exciting the length and the energy of the drums. I'm going to back it down again and listen to the Yuri. Here's the drum mix with very little compression. No reverb on drums, that's just room mics and ambience. A little harder. Even harder into the Yuri. That's where it sounds best to me in the Black Lion. Standing up perfectly with that snap and that punch. It's really, really accurate. I'm very, very, very impressed. Now we're going to do drums into the Teletronix LA2A and see how that sounds on a very lower level, just a little bit of compression. Talking 1 dB. Black Lion Audio. Teletronix. Black Lion. So with very little compression, they look like they're doing strikingly similar things, and they sound very, very close. I'm going to push in harder and go back to the Teletronics LA2A. You can hear what 2 to 3 dB of compression sounds like and what a difference it makes on the drums. And if you look at the meters on the 2A of the BLA, they're strikingly similar to the Teletronics. Here's now the BLA with drums pushed in a little harder. Teletronics. BLA. BLA. Pretty good. Gonna push in even harder. Here's Teletronics LA2A. That's between 5 and 7 dB. Let's listen to the Black Lion Audio and see how close they got. Teletronics. BLA. Teletronics. BLA. Well, that's where I hear somewhat of a difference. I hear that the snare sounds great when I push into both of them. I hear that the BLA isn't capturing the kick drum as quickly as the Teletronics LA2A. Sounds great, but it's letting a little more of the kick transient through than the Teletronics. That's why I kept going back and forth. The other 3 settings sounded spot on, but as soon as I really pushed in hard, the Black Lion Audio let a little more of the kick drum transient through. Is that good or bad or worse? Well, I don't know. It's just slightly different. But it is hard to replicate these things perfectly. And Black Lion Audio is doing an excellent job across the board of getting dead close. So now we're going to do bass really quick on the Uri 1176. Black Lion Audio. Really controlling the transient nicely and giving that energy, sure. Back to Uri. Black Lion Audio. To me, that sounds identical. I can't hear a difference. Honestly, I just can't. I'm going to push bass in harder now and go back to the Uri 1176. Black Lion Audio 17. Really close, really close. Just trying to make sure my volumes are the same, and here we go. My hand keeps touching. Gonna push the bass in even harder and listen to this Uri. wow, what great control, and still letting that bottom end come through, yet giving great attitude in the upper mids. Let's listen to the Black Lion Audio. Really, really close. Yeah, strikingly close. I can't hear the difference. Maybe you can at home through your earbuds or your pods or whatever you're listening through. I'm listening through these wonderful speakers in a great environment, outputting through burl converters, so it's pretty accurate here. Let's switch over to the LA2As. Pull the bass down a bit, and let's do Teletronics LA2A on bass, which is something I would definitely use it on. Black Lion. Teletronics. Pretty good. Let's crank them in. Here comes bass pushed in harder into the Teletronics. Black Lion Audio. That sounds quite good the way it's controlling the transients. I really, really like the way the Black Lion Audio LA2A or 2A is grabbing the transients pushed in a little harder. Let's push it even harder into the Teletronics. Black Lion. I'm not kidding when I say this. I think the Black Lion sounds better on bass than the Teletronics LA2A. Call me crazy. I just really like how it's grabbing and controlling the transient and not suffering any bottom end whatsoever. The bass is not being compromised at all, yet it's still giving great upper mids, which I don't normally expect out of an LA2A, but both of these are doing it. Obviously, we tracked with some upper mids, 1K, 1.5K, gave it some grind, but both of these compressors are bringing it out, and neither one of them are making the bass suffer or compromising the bottom end. The Black Lion Audio LA2A is grabbing that bass and holding it right in its place in such a wonderful way. Let's switch over to guitars on 1176. These are distorted guitars, so just inherently they're probably running through a tube head if I know how Frank records guitars, and also added some compression on the way in. So usually I don't compress big guitars when I'm mixing, but just for the sake of parallel compression and hearing what they can do to guitars, here's what it sounds like. Black Lion Audio. Yuri again. Black Lion Audio. Gonna push into him a little more, into the Yuri. Black Lion Audio. Black Lion Audio. That's about all the compression I would add to guitars. Let's listen to the Yuri in that section over here. They're so close, it's really difficult for me to hear a difference. Let's go into the LA2As. First, the Teletronics with guitars at a very light level. Now, I find myself, when I'm mixing, putting LA2As on guitars, LA3As and LA2As on guitars instead of 1176s, just because guitars have a decent amount of upper mids already, and sometimes I find myself wanting to control them or tame them a little bit. Now I know an LA3A would push that up a little bit inherently, but an LA2A will soften it for you in your mix a little bit. I found there is a plug-in company out there that I don't want to plug right now, does an excellent job with an LA2A, and I really like it on the guitars. But here is the LA2A Teletronics on guitars. Already a softer upper mid-range than the 1176. Let's try the Black Lion Audio. Back to the Teletronics with a little more push. Even more. Back to the Black Lion Audio. Teletronics. Black Lion Audio. Just great and very accurate. Again, I wouldn't compress much more than that. I don't want to lose any of that, so I'm not going to really show you what guitars sound like smashed, because they don't sound very good smashed. Drums, bass, yeah, you can get pretty aggressive. Guitars, especially distorted guitars, like I said, they're already distorted, so you don't want to do too much. Okay, so let's do a vocal on a Yuri 1176, and we know that this is a home run already, so we're going to push in a little bit and see where we get. Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. Let's try the Black Lion Audio. Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. Really good, really accurate. Let's listen to the Yuri again. Now that you moved on to another one, something feels... Black Lion. Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. I mean, that's good control. I don't have any plug-in compression on that, and just a little bit is controlling these. Now I'm going to push in pretty hard, because when I mix, the 1176 is pretty stunned. So let me just take a look at this on the Yuri. Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. That's more like it. Black Lion Audio.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know.
That's really accurate. Let's push in even harder.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know.
Wow, that's the Uri. Here's the Black Lion Audio.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know.
That also sounds fantastic. I'm having a hard time discerning between the two of them. Maybe you'll hear it different than me, but here listening, they're really accurate, the 1176s. Let's try the LA2A. Again, I would use an LA2A in mixing, but usually what I do with plugins or with hardware is I'll run an 1176 to grab the transients up front, just the way we're doing now aggressively, and then just tickle the LA2A. So what we're going to do is test this out, LA2As, and then we're going to go back and run the real 1176 into the Teletronics LA2A, so it's Uri 1176 into Teletronics LA2A, and then use this B172A or B172A the way it was meant to be used, or a way you can use it in succession, one into the other. Now, just because I normally do an 1176 into an LA2A when I'm mixing, doesn't mean it has to be done that way. You can run it either direction. I normally do it that way, but with this Black Lion Audio, you can run it in any direction you want. There's individual outputs on the back. You can hook it up to a patch bay. You can do anything you want with it. There isn't just one input and one output. You have multiple ways of configuring this compressor. It's incredible that you can get both of these compressors for a fraction, tremendous fraction. I know the reissued Teletronics LA2As go for about $5 or $6 grand. The originals are probably around 10 or 15,000 per mono unit. The Uri 1176, this unit that I have here, is somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000 for just that one mono unit. Again, vocals into an LA2A.
Now that you moved on to another one.
Black Lion Audio.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels.
Okay, let's push into these things. Here's the Universal Audio.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. You feel.
Now we're talking 2-3 dB of gain reduction. What a huge impact that already had on the vocal. Now let's check out the BLA2A.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know.
Obvious control of volume and amplitude. That's a foregone conclusion that these will do their job of compressing. But the character that these compressors are putting on sound sources is incredible. I'm grateful that these companies, or this company, Teletronics, made these compressors, and I'm really grateful now that Black Lion Audio is making them and their price accessible, that people can buy and own pieces of history, basically, and the sound of records and things that just make sound sources sound so much better. Such an incredible improvement on your recordings by utilizing this gear. So that's all the compression that I personally would put on an LA2A. I wouldn't slam it. So I'm going to show you what a mix would sound like of everything thrown into all of these two very quickly, and you'll get to hear what they all sound like in a parallel compression sort of way. Here's the Uri 1176 first.
Something feels so wrong, you know. You feel the same as me, and you don't wanna leave, but it brings you down to think, where will we be just months from now?
And you can see I'm being pretty aggressive with it, but you know, that's the sort of thing that you can take your entire mix and send it off to another bus or a rear bus and be aggressive with compression and feather that into your big, clean, beautiful sound for attitude, aggression, and, you know, tone. So that's why I'm hitting it a little harder, playing it and not hearing the compression. Well, what do we need the compressor for? Okay, so here's a Black Lion 1176.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. You feel the same as me, and you don't wanna leave, but it brings you down to think.
Okay, just for fun, let's try that in the Teletronics LA2A.
Now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. You feel the same as me, and
Had to change the mix a little bit because the LA2A has a different sound than the 1176. Okay, let's try the Black Lion Audio 2A.
now that you moved on to another one, something feels so wrong, you know. You feel the same as me.
Just strikingly similar sound and characteristics. You know, it's hard to calibrate the ins and the outs to be just ever so perfect. Each sound source will react differently. I guess the idea is to globally make these things sound and react just like the original. Sometimes you may have to put the input knob up on one a little harder than the other, or the output down a little. That's not relevant to the sound or how much compression you're getting and how your meters are reacting. That's the real important thing here. So now we're going to take a quick time out and we're going to run things in succession. Really what I want to do is bass and vocals. Drums I wouldn't do it to, and guitars I wouldn't do. So bass and vocals we're going to run in succession or in serial order, as I was schooled today by my partner Frank. And we'll be right back.